So this will be a small mass of land. The interest of the painting will lie in the shape of a bank of trees and rocks here, coupled of course with some interest in the sky. And the water. The water is, I think it's a little higher than 1/3 of the way up the canvas. That's okay because I want to have enough interest in the water, enough strength in it to carry the rest of the painting. It's going to be pretty simple, I think. And let's just try to come up with yeah, in a way, maybe I should allow the water to keep going or block it off completely. Or do I put in a bit of distant shore there? I'm not sure at the moment what I want to do with that. Okay, I'm not going to be able to wipe it off because the tint is still wet for when I laid it on. But I'll try to pull a little bit of charcoal off of there. But I'm going to go over it. I'm going to move that tree over. I like that, having a couple of, maybe a young one there, and then maybe a boulder going up to another boulder. I don't know, something like that, something like that. I don't think I want to have a distant shore. I don't want that clutter over here. I want it to be a simple design, let's see here. 2 conifers and I guess deciduous will be sort of what I'm after. I want to have a mass of rock here. I don't want to put the top of it directly below the center of this bush. I'd like it to stay interesting. Okay, I still ended up with this. Yeah, maybe this angle is like this angle is like that. Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's not such a big sin. Yeah, this is still quite a band. But depending on how I handle the foreground, or handle the colors rather, in this area, we might be just fine. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. Now, as a reminder, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do a reflection, but this is going to affect how I paint the water in. Sort of. To reflect how I paint the water. Okay. Sorry about the pun. That was terrible. Okay, leave it alone. Don't want to worry too much about it. Alright, I think I'll get a little brushy poo and draw in my lines. because the tint or the stain is still quite wet. My lines aren't sticking very well. Well, the paint isn't glomming onto the canvas, this dark paint that I'm putting on now. It's okay, that's not a big deal. But I think in general, I kind of like how this has gone. You know, quick sketch, but it has some life to it. And I'm just trying to get in the important elements. And we'll worry about the rest later. Of course, that water line is pretty crucial. My dark lines are the same as usual. Ultramarine blue and a bit of, what am I using? Burnt sienna. And the tint is wet enough that it's actually mixing in as I lay the other paint on, so it's a bit of a nuisance. I think there's going to be another brush painting though, or another knife painting, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I'll be laying things on fairly heavily. Don't get excited. I'm not actually going to be painting a reflection of the rocks. I'm just doing this again to sort of keep borne in mind what I'm up to, where the darks and lights are going to be in the water. And that's all going to shift. The water is going to have a life of its own. This just helps me to remember where the darks and lights are going to be. More or less. And I may as well draw that in and just paint it in with some of this paint as well while I'm at it. Because that's going to be silhouette. This island, or this little bit of land here, this shoreline, it's going to be silhouette, definitely. So I'm putting in all kinds of little lines that are unnecessary now. Frankly, they're a bit silly. Yeah, still some raw umber here. I'll use that. I'll use some raw umber with my ultramarine blue now for a moment. Ultramarine, or raw umber, is typically a little more opaque than burnt sienna is. Maybe I should have used it right away, but you know, it's such a minor thing. I don't worry about things like that too much. This is a small painting. I'm planning to keep it pretty loose. So, you know, I'm gonna worry about something. Prioritize. Pick the big worries. I mean, if you worry about everything on your painting, what's the joy of painting, right? Okay. Okay. That tells us a little something. Now I'm just going to take raw umber. Because by the time I get to this, maybe it'll be somewhat dried up. And that would not bother me at all. Raw umber dries quickly, even when it's thinned off. And I'm going to still, even though it's a dark color against a dark color, I'm going to try to stay within the lines. Because once this dries up a little bit, and even if I don't let it dry up a little bit, you're still going to be able to see the individual rocks. Not as clearly on camera, but I'll see them very clearly from where I'm sitting. And those will still act as my guides. And yeah, if this were a brush painting, if this were going to be a brush painting, I'd be a little more careful about where I'm laying my strokes, even in the wash-in. Oh, I just keep getting junk here on my brush. Okay. That comes from my raw umber pile. Because, yeah, it dries up quickly. Starting to get a bit of a skin on it, so we'll just do away with that. Okay, that wasn't a very good stroke. I want to maintain that line between water and land. If I let it get away on me, I won't have my reference anymore. Okay. Okay, it might not be the right color, but I have it on my brush. Really more about value than color itself at the moment. Because as I said, this is going to get messed up. Okay. I better stop playing. Just let it dry. Okay, that's a little bit better now. Just ignore this down here. It's I know the temptation is to think, well, that's not an accurate reflection. Don't care, it doesn't matter. I'd paint the whole area dark if I felt like it, but there's no need to. Not at the moment anyways. Yeah, that has to dry now, and then I will go into it with the knife. Not the bad knife. The good knife. See ya.